Climb a mountain, they said. It'll be fun, they said. I don't know about you, but when I see a pixel art game about a girl scaling a massive, ominous peak, my first thought isn't, wow, this looks like a relaxing evening. It's more like, how many times am I going to rage quit tonight? But Celeste isn't just about frustration, it's about redemption, about learning to fail and getting back up again. And somehow, despite the many times it made me want to toss my goddamn controller, it became one of the most inspiring games I've played recently. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Celeste is a game about jumping, precision jumping, and at first glance, it's easy to lump the game into the generic platformer category. But that doesn't quite capture its essence. Celeste strips away the extraneous mechanics like combat or resource management. Instead, it focuses solely on movement, making it feel like its own subgenre. Perhaps we could call it a jumper, a masterful jumping-centric experience where every mechanic is designed to complement that core. How about calling it a jump core? Sweet. Let's break down some of its puzzles so you can better understand what I mean. Celeste's level design is a masterclass in variety, offering distinct types of challenges that keep you engaged. There's momentum puzzles. These sections teach you how to manipulate speed and direction. Consider the moving platforms or springboards that fling Madeline across the screen. At first it feels like chaos, but the game subtly trains you to time your movements with pinpoint accuracy. There's environmental interaction. The game integrates environmental elements like wind, which pushes against you, and water currents that slow you down. These mechanics don't just add difficulty, they create a dialogue between the player and the environment. Then there are the infamous thread the needle sections. Here, you're tasked with landing on tiny ledges or threading through spikes, relying entirely on your mastery of jump timing in air dashes. And there's timing-based races. Some levels feel like tests of rhythm, where platforms move on a timer or crumble beneath your feet. They force you to act with urgency, creating adrenaline-filled moments that still reward precision. What makes Celeste so exceptional is how it layers complexity on top of a single mechanic: the jump. Madeline's jump starts basic, but as the game progresses, tools like the air dash, wall cling, and stamina bar transform it into something far more nuanced. Each level introduces new mechanics, like the dream block that catapult you across the screen or the bouncy clouds that propel you upward, forcing you to constantly adapt and rethink how you approach each section. By focusing entirely on jumping, Celeste creates a gameplay loop that feels pure and dynamic. You're not just traversing, you're solving jumping puzzles, improvising midair, and learning to master an ever-expanding set of mechanics. It redefines what a platformer can be, stripping it down to its essence while layering it with endless depth. Maybe jump core isn't a thing yet, but after Celeste, it should be. I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing the term Celeste-like soon enough. Maybe we already have? If not, I'm coining it now. One of Celeste's most celebrated features is its assist mode, a set of tools that make the game more approachable without compromising its core design philosophy. At first glance, you might think that a game so focused on precision and difficulty wouldn't gel with accessibility, but Celeste integrates these features seamlessly. It's not just about making the game easier, it's about making it playable for everyone, no matter their skill level or physical ability. Assist mode offers a range of customizable options that let players tailor the game to their needs. These include Slow motion. Players can reduce the game's speed, allowing more time to react during those intense platforming sequences. Invincibility. This prevents Madeline from taking damage, letting players focus purely on exploration or puzzle solving without worrying about death. Infinite stamina. Normally, Madeline's ability to cling to walls is limited by a stamina meter. With this option, you can climb forever, removing time pressure from platforming challenges. Unlimited air dashes. In standard gameplay, air dashes are limited to 1 or 2 per jump depending on upgrades. This option eliminates that restriction, letting players experiment freely. And level skipping. For players stuck on particularly tricky sections, assist mode allows them to skip past them entirely. Each feature can be toggled independently, giving players granular control over their experience. You can use just one assist or all of them, depending on what you need. This flexibility ensures that the game remains challenging if you want it to, while still accommodating players who might otherwise find it inaccessible. Celeste's approach to accessibility has influenced countless other games. It's proof that a game can be both brutally challenging and also welcoming. By respecting its players and offering thoughtful options, Celeste redefines what accessibility in gaming can look like. And in doing so, it sets a new standard for how games can be designed with everyone in mind. So, if you haven't played Celeste yet, you have to understand that the base game without the accessibility options is frickin' hard. And that's without collecting the strawberries. What are strawberries exactly? These shiny, floating collectibles scattered throughout Celeste's levels may seem insignificant at first, an optional extra for completionists. But in reality, they represent one of the game's most ingenious design choices, offering players a way to dictate their own level of challenge. Strawberries don't just sit out in the open waiting to be picked up. They're often tucked away in hard-to-reach corners of the map, requiring precision platforming, quick thinking, and, in many cases, repeated trial and error to snag. And that's okay. You're going to die. A lot. And unlike other collectibles and platformers, they serve no purpose other than bragging rights. The game even explicitly tells you early on, strawberries impress your friends, but that's about it. And yet they're irresistible. Why? Because they embody self-imposed difficulty. Mark Brown from GMTK brilliantly broke down this concept in his video, Super Mario's Invisible Difficulty Settings. He explains how Nintendo has long explored ways to let players adjust their difficulty level without explicit menu options, through clever optional challenges embedded in the game world. Celeste takes this idea and runs with it, allowing players to define their experience by choosing how much of the game's challenge to take on. If you're playing casually, you can skip the strawberries and focus on the core gameplay. But if you're a hardcore player, or just someone who can't stand leaving a strawberry behind, you've essentially opted into a harder mode without the game ever labeling it as such. It's difficulty on your terms. In this way, Celeste exemplifies a design philosophy that respects all kinds of players. You don't need to be a master of precision platforming to enjoy the game, but if you are, the strawberries ensure you'll be well fed. And so Celeste invites you to climb the mountain your way, whether that's blazing through the story, challenging yourself with strawberries, or turning on assist mode to make the climb more manageable. It's a game that truly understands its audience, offering something for everyone without compromise. Celeste's story of self-discovery is amplified by its incredible visuals and music. The soundtrack evolves with the gameplay, subtly mirroring Madeline's emotional state. From the upbeat tracks of early levels to the melancholic tones of her confrontations with Badeline, every note tells a story. One standout moment is the feather mechanic in a later chapter. Madeline learns to focus her breathing using a floating feather, a simple but profound metaphor for managing anxiety, and a rare example of gameplay mechanics delivering emotional storytelling. Celeste has set a gold standard for indie games. It proved that you don't have to choose between challenge and accessibility, that narrative and mechanics can coexist seamlessly, and that pixel art is far from being outdated. It's no wonder Celeste won the Game Awards for Best Independent Game in 2018 and continues to inspire developers across the globe. Celeste isn't just a game about climbing a mountain, it's about conquering your own inner mountain. Its design teaches us that failure isn't the end, but an opportunity to try again. And that's what makes it one of the greatest indie games of all time. If you're still here, it means you found value in this video, and I would love if you could like and subscribe for more great game design. I'll see you in the next one.